Beautiful world. You're growing a food forest, right? And you've got something like this, and you probably want to turn it into something like that, right? But how do you go from your grass lawn into your productive food forest system? Now, I want to make this as simple as I can for you. We need a good foundation. To be able to grow a forest, we need to be able to have the soil that can maintain and grow a forest. Basically, we need the soil foundation first and foremost. So what we look at is we look at where your system is. Now, a lawn is a savanna. So savannas are going to be bacterial dominated ecosystems, and they're going to have certain plants that are going to thrive in those environments. Now, we want to get plants that can grow really well in those environments that are basically the edge plants between those savannas and the forests. So open woodland species, edge forest species, these kind of plants that grow really fast, produce a lot of seed, can be used to grow up the nutrition that the soil needs. So basically, you are growing a forest. You're going to be using pioneering plants. You're going to be using plants that grow really hardy in the conditions that you have. I would suggest going with native plants wherever possible, and then outside of that, being careful, because pioneering plants are good at one thing. They're good at many things, but there's one thing that they're exceptionally good at, and that is pioneering new lands. And that means that they can become an environmental imbalancer. And so therefore we need to be mindful of what species we are actually using. So we can use a whole range of native plants for this. Hovias, wattles, look up some of the legumes that are there, hakeas. We want fast growing plants that can handle being cut down. Bottle brushes are good habitat plants that we can put in around to give spaces for the birds and pest control as we're growing. But basically we're looking for fast growing plants that we can prune hard and put that organic matter on the top as mulch. That mulch we can inoculate. We can put compost underneath before we do our drop mulch. We can also spray over microbiology in the form of teas to increase the biology in the soil, because basically we need to go from a bacterial soil into a fungi dominated soil. So we still need bacteria, but it's just dominated by fungi. And so we're going to need a lot more carbon. So we can put cardboard down over the top of the grass just to smother it a bit before we scattering some of these pioneering seeds, planting out all our tube stock. But basically we want a lot of organic matter coming up fast so that we can cut it down. So go to your local native tube stock nursery and let them know that you want this plant, the plant that will grow up fast, like kind of as a hedge. So like hedging plants, right? Because then they can handle that constant kind of pruning, but you want a fast growing one. Other things that you could use to help shade out the grass and then create a barrier of entry so you're not getting grass coming back into your system. So things that will clump and shade fast. Cassava will shade fast, and then underneath the cassava we could put in things like sweet potato. We can also then put in clumping like arrow roots, and even like certain clumping grasses and things, lemongrass. We can put all as the edge. We can use bananas. So here is an edge that I've got going. So cassava, banana, sweet potato. Then I've got a native wisteria. That's a really fast growing plant. In there, coastal rosemary. And then I've got more shading, the perennial basil, the clove basil on the edge, the cranberry hibiscus. These are all fast growing plants, and you can see that I've done then drop mulch here on the pigeon pea. They're all pruned back, all down on the ground is all What else? These little drop mulchings. So the drop mulchings are then done in situ, because basically to grow a forest, we need a forest to grow on. So we're focusing on the forest floor, getting the nutrients and the biology in the forest floor, using drop mulching species that are suited to the environment that you have now. Plant them in now. As the environment changes, as more fungi comes in, those species are going to have competition with your other, longer term species. This is when you're going to start putting in your fruit trees, and then they're going to take off and look amazing, and you're going to get your food forest. So pioneering plants, really fast growing plants that suit the environment the way it is now, that can start to put organic matter into your soil, start to help break up your soil by its roots going through, can start to engage and interact in the soil and start feeding the biology in the soil. These are the things that you want to do to go from a lawn into a food forest. You need succession, you need pioneering plants, and you need to grow a forest on a forest. So you need to have dropped a forest into your soil to be able to grow a forest, in other words. I hope that helps. Please ask all your questions and I will try and get answers to help you out. If this has not clarified the question, then please let me know. Love you all. Enjoy. Bye.